Welcome everyone to Weekend Escapades. Today we are in Goldfield, Nevada. We're going to share with you the history of this location, when it became a boomtown, and what happened to make it a living ghost town. Come along and join the adventure. While many of Nevada's boomtowns sprung up during the Old West era, it wasn't until 1902 that Goldfield, made a name for itself. And when Goldfield came about in 1902, boomtowns and mining towns were really being known for their sophistication more than the Old West rugged feeling with the gunfights and thievery and so forth. So Goldfield has some buildings that are quite amazing that we're going to share with you that are sophisticated, such as the Goldfield Hotel, that is supposedly very haunted. Now, after the discovery of gold in 1904, Goldfield became the wealthiest and largest city in Nevada. Now, despite all of Goldfield's wealth and riches, like all ghost towns, Goldfield soon became bust. Now, the mines in Goldfield became into a state of kind of decline by 1910. And what happened is the population, which dwindled down to about 1,500, basically of fortune seekers, they left and they went elsewhere. So that's why Goldfield today, of course, has less occupants. And I think it's down to about 300 people now, and that is why it is known as a living ghost town. Right? With Tonopah being just down the road, that's really started it all. A lot of gold strikes, silver in Tonopah, some great history there. But Goldfield, the largest. Now this is one of the buildings that are a historical marker. It says right up there on the sign, spitting on the sidewalk prohibited. I don't see a sidewalk. That's a good looking old building. Big window in the front, a little door. Like an old miner's cabin. This one has a giant iron door on it. This building has a huge block and an old tin roof. That looks like that might be an original roof. If not, it has been there for quite a while. Take a look at this door on here. Amazing old door. That is very thick. Well, this looks like actually it was the jail. You can see the bars in the window, and then inside there's more iron. Another window. You can see the iron on the inside as well. So not only the iron bars, but iron kind of lattice work on the inside. It's an amazing old building. Look at the different sizes of those blocks to put that together. This area was the red light district, and a fire ripped through here, and that the only building left that's being restored is this one. That was a brothel right there. You can see the 3 doors and the 3 windows. So that's what's left in the red light district. And going across the street, in fact, we did find out this was the jail. And quite an interesting jail at that, because this jail has one giant iron door, and I'm assuming there are cells in there, and there's just 2 little barred windows that we showed you in that video. But I'll tell you, that is very strong, but at the same time, not much air got in. But in the summertime, it gets plenty hot to live under a tin roof.
Now this is the Consolidated Mines Building, built by George Nixon, better known as the Nixon Block. Built in 1907, this has a giant vault in it as well, and many pictures have been taken right here in front of this doorway, and this created many historic photos for Goldfield, Nevada.
Vault, a couple of old vaults in the back. Take a look at those. That reminds me of the one that's at the Mizpah Hotel that's down the road in Tonopah. You can see the amazing work and workings of that vault that's built into the wall. Mannequin looking out of the window right up there. That's not creepy at all. Okay, as you can see attached to the building, that was the old Consolidated Telephone and Telegram office building. old building right here. Now this town has no shortage of old buildings to look at. But this town did suffer with a fire. You can just see the old buildings in the background. Now this was an old mercantile here in town, and then it stored a lot of liquor here. You can see the peak up there. Very interesting building. They've got it wired off on this side to keep it from falling down, and then they turned this into a theater. So this was a huge theater. It's a massive building. Here's a old building here made out of stone. The old wood door there. See what's going on here. Besides a building just falling in. Amazing to think that at one time this was somebody's residence. They lived here and mined in this community. Probably went in the old mercantile and the hotels of a town that once was. But this one still has activity and residents. All right, built in 1907, this is the Goldfield School. It is known to be haunted. Believe it or not, there's been many videos and stories, first-hand stories from the people that worked in here, that this location is haunted. With this building at 1907, we're going to get a look at the front of it, trying to be restored. As you can see, the windows have all been redone. The building's been sealed up, chained off, fenced off, I should say. And here it is, the front. We're going to get a good picture of that to share with you. That is one massive school. So this school had 12 large classrooms and 450 students and only 2 bathrooms. This is one nice preservation project that they're having because this is one giant building. Old number 3 right here. Still has the drivetrain in it. Not much of a steering wheel left. Tires are still on there. The tires are holding maybe a little air. But this is the Rock Bottle House, or Rock's Bottles House, I should say. And it was built in 1905. As you can see, it's made out of bottles. Now there's been a few buildings that we've shown you like this, and one of them is in Rhyolite Ghost Town, the original bottle building. I can't remember exactly how many bottles were there, but this one looks like it was a similar attempt. As you can see, they built it out of bottles, and then they tried to mud over the top of it. Right here, with the one in Rhyolite, they did not. It was all exposed bottles. These bottles look like they were put in there a little bit at an angle, different directions. Maybe a different style of building a rock bottle house. All right, so every time you turn around and go down the street here in Goldfield, it's just amazing stuff to see. Look at this old garage and the fake brickwork on the front where it says garage right there, all made out of tin. Hey, there's a noose hanging right there. But look at these. These are old subway station entrances. Wow, look at that. This is a nice find. All iron. Walking in an old subway station entrance in the middle of the Nevada desert. Now this next to the hotel is the mining company office, and that is again right next to the hotel. You can see it's a fairly good sized building, but what a better place to have the mining office right next to the assayer's office.
Now that miner's office is about 8 feet off the Goldfield Hotel, and this is what it looked like in the heyday, and this is it today. Now all of Goldfield sits on this lonely stretch of Route 95. It's kind of located in the sagebrush here in central Nevada. Now this ghost town of Goldfield is home to about 300 people, as I mentioned, and its main industries, of course, is tourism and still gold. Now the Goldfield Hotel was built in 1908, and it has a beautiful facade that still dominates the town's main square. Now the Goldfield caused quite the sensation when it opened, as it was one of the first hotels in the West to use electric lights and supply running water to every room. That was quite exciting back in the day in the old dry desert. Now, the Goldfield Hotel was very luxurious. Mahogany paneled lobby with its black leather buttoned couches wrapped around iron pillars, to its state-of-the-art elevator running 300 feet per minute. Now, as classy as the hotel was, it is now said to be haunted. It is said that George Wingfield's ghost still roams the grounds and stalks the hotel, leaving hot ashes from his cigar on the lobby floor, and that he still paces around the lobby. And where else would he go? After all, Wingfield's ghost would probably be here, as he built the town as an investor, a cattleman, and a gambler. Well, as he made this his home, he still may make this his home to this day.
This was the Sideboard Saloon. And this is the entrance. I'm going to walk through the entrance of the Sideboard Saloon. Now get this. It still has some of the tile on the entranceway. But I'm telling you right now, when you go into this saloon, you're not getting anything cold to drink. There's a couple of them still standing. And they build them out of wood. They start falling down, and on the windy side of the shack, they start putting tin to hold the darn things up. And eventually, these towns just dry up and they have no money and no revenue coming in, so they just move out of these miner shacks and move on to the next town. And that's what you got left. An old door swinging on a building that's fallen down.
Every ghost town we go to, we find a tremendous amount of old vehicles in conditions similar to these. Maybe somebody could let me know in the comments below. Are vehicles in this condition able to be restored? Because the metal looks like it's in good condition. I know it would be a lot of work, but if it could be restored, maybe there's somebody out there that needs a couple of old fenders for vehicles just like this. Well, if you do, and they can be restored, now you know where they're at. Right here in the desert of Goldfield, Nevada.
So there it is, the saloon. All original. Now this was built out here, and the reason it was is to be closer to the mining operation. But at the same time, this made it through the flood. And it also made it through the fire of 1923 because it was built outside of the town area. This is right here outside the mining district as well. That is awesome. There's another one here right next to it. Man, this thing is in pretty darn good condition. I think this could be restored. Now this was the engine that ran from Bullfrog and Goldfield. Now Bullfrog, you may have seen some of our videos with Bullfrog, Nevada. And we referenced the fact that the tracks went right through there to Rhyolite for all of the mining to bring the ore out and people. So what this is the actual locomotive that ran on that railroad between Goldfield and, of course, Bullfrog. Old T, I guess, like Model T kind of an era. And this just old fleet car there. As you can see, in shortage, no shortage of old trucks. But look at the old frames too. They've just dismantled all these cars into pieces. Wheels over there and tires, and a whole bunch of bins of bottles. These are all old miner shacks in the backside of those old West homes that we were looking at. It's amazing. There's so much to see.
And it's nice to see an old living ghost town, as they call it, not become so commercialized. So much to see here in Goldfield, we could go on for hours. We hope you enjoyed this adventure to Goldfield, Nevada.
And that's going to do it for today. And until our next adventure, goodbye from Weekend Escapades and we'll see you in the next one. Good old Goldfield.